All right. Well,
Well,
Darryl, this is the day. My chance to host the Toronto Real Estate Show. My moment has arrived.
oh, I just screwed up my phone. Your moment has arrived.
My
Hold
moment
on a
has
sec.
arrived. I've been
But
waiting for this day for you to be away
I,
from your computer long enough.
I thought you were the host.
I keep telling people you're the host. That way anything goes wrong, I can just point
Then
the
it's
finger
my
at
fault.
you. Yeah.
All right.
I'm just a I'm a
Take.
permanent guest.
You are the permanent guest on the Toronto Real Estate Show. All right. Well, that's good to know.
So we're doing two remote shows back to back. This weekend you are away and I am at home base. And next
Yeah.
weekend I'm away and you will be at home base. So
The level of dedication is sickening.
it's pretty high. It's pretty high. I don't think
Can I
anybody else is
move
doing the things
myself?
that we're doing.
Which side of you am I on right now?
You're on the left side of the screen.
I am on the left side of the screen. So does it look like I'm looking towards you or away from you right now?
You know what? Let's not worry about that, but it looks good no matter what.
This is this is why I'm the host, okay? Because I
Yeah,
worry about these
because
things,
you worry about these
TK.
things. Tilt your head to the shoulder that's on the fireplace side. Yeah,
That way?
that'll be now looking at me. There you go.
There you go.
Awesome. So
Well,
what's
I'll try and keep that up, but I wouldn't count on it.
so what's new? So this week now, let's just do a quick little recap here. So last week we talked about your new purchase, very exciting. Now you've got the week after. How does it feel?
That is an excellent question. An excellent question. Um, I'm not sure. So I feel like I've been completely disconnected from the market since we bought the house. So what goes through my head is like I wake up going, I read a lot of articles about it cooling and like things are cooling, and I'm like, fuck, we bought at the peak, man. Did we buy at the peak? And then I was like, hold on a sec. I'm I thought I was a co-host of the Toronto Real Estate Show, so I got to rethink the thought. So I'm the host of the Toronto Real Estate Show. Like I got to know what's going on. I don't think I bought at the peak, but like those thoughts are popping in. Like, dude, was I stupid? Did I pay too much? Well, maybe we were too
Yep.
fast. We didn't look enough.
Yep.
Most of those thoughts that creep in are in the voice of my wife in my head.
Yep.
I don't think that they originated with me, but
And they're
they
normal. This is normal. Every buyer feels the same way. Even real estate agents, even experienced investors.
I never felt this way ever when I bought like a new home from a builder in the past because
It was a fixed
like
price.
well and I
That's different.
understood the market in those environments. Like
Yeah.
this one I still can't figure out, but I believe still very strongly that even if it looks like it's cooling and even if it feels like it's cooling, which you're going to tell me if it even is because I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'll
We
give you
didn't even
some
talk this
some
week.
weekly updates. Yeah.
But like if it is cooling, I believe it is super temporary and it's just because it's like, you know, everybody's sick, nobody understands, everybody's fed up,
So
and it's like summer.
let's talk
But
about exactly what you just said. So you just said when you bought a brand new house from a builder, you didn't have this feeling. But now because you bought in an open market from a private seller that was, there was multiple offers, there was, you used your own
the nuttiest
valuation
market
skills,
ever.
right?
But it was the nuttiest market ever. Like I don't think we figured it out. We figured out how to buy a house in the market. We didn't figure out how to value it properly and know that we paid the right amount. It doesn't matter now
But
because
let
we
me tell you
bought it.
this though. But let me give you good news. When I go and
Okay,
buy
I need good
a,
news, TK.
an iPad, okay, from Apple,
Yeah,
it's a fixed price.
it's a
I go
fixed
in, I go
price.
in there and the price is listed and that's what it is. And I know that everybody else has to pay that same price. So when
The
after I buy it, I
same
walk
thing.
away and I'm like, I bought my iPad, I paid the $800, whatever it is, and now
Yeah.
I've got the iPad that I want. So those thoughts don't come up. But if I go and buy an iPad off the guy in the parking lot, off the back of the truck, right? For $300. Now my brain starts telling me, did I overpay? Did I buy a faulty iPad? Is it even a real iPad? Is there going to be something wrong? Should I have gotten the warranty? Because it's an
Right.
open market and I've lost the control. That's why a market where it is fixed and that there is a reputable seller and that that all the other consumers have to pay the same price is a much more comfortable market to buy in.
Well, but hold on. Add to the mix that like this is not a track home, so there isn't the same house down the street that, is
Exactly.
in the same shape with the same yard and the same
Exactly.
kitchen. And, it's like, but this is what it is. And so
Normal.
you tell me, because the big question, who gives a shit? Listen, people felt like last week was a TK special, like a commercial, and we all know that it wasn't. But
Okay.
I don't want this to be a commercial about the house. I want to know, as a consumer in the market now, what the fuck's going on out there, TK? Is it cooling? Did I
Let me
screw up?
let me just finish that thought that we had there, and just to give you the realtor perspective. We
Yeah,
feel the same way when we buy and sell for our clients.
right.
Did we
Ah,
get the
good.
highest price? Was the neighbor gonna get for more? Should we have waited? Like, there is no way to be able to say 100%. So that's why when we do our job, the most important thing is that we have all the control points that we possibly can have in place. So that
Right.
we put the house out on the market at the right time, that we got it, looking its best, that we priced its best, that we allowed the showings in, that we negotiated, that we got, all those things that we know. It's a system, and at the end, the results are out of our control. And the exact same goes on the buying side. We look as many properties as we can. We do our research. We negotiate. We try to look out
Sure.
for issues with the home, all that kind of stuff. And at the end of the day, the market price will be out of our control. And those are the things that, we have to remember. But the same feelings in real estate. And then luckily in the market that we're in, which is slamming still this week,
Oh,
you know, good market this week. I had a listing where I put it up. This is actually a good story. So let's do the deal of the week. So I put up a house.
deal of the
Where's the
week.
music? I'll put the theme song in here, but I won't. So
Um,
the house went up about 2 weeks ago or something like that. And the next day, unfortunately, my client's mother passed. So she called me and she said, let's just not do showings tomorrow. We'll take a break. And immediately I thought, if we miss out, and it was a Sunday that she wanted to take off. I said, if we miss out on the 6 showings that we had booked on that Sunday, that is going to impact our results the Thursday when the offers were set. So I said, we can't do that. And I said, you need to take some time. You let me know when you're ready. We're taking it off the market. So we had one showing that came in Friday night. Saturday morning, she called me. I canceled. I suspended the listing, took it off the market, and gave her some time. She ended up having the funeral, everything. Wednesday, she called me and she says, I'm ready to go. I said, we're going back on tomorrow. So the Thursday I put it on. Now, I had put it on Thursday, I think afternoon, and I had one showing on the Friday, and I had a total of 7 showings booked between Friday to Sunday total. When I put it up the next Thursday, which was not the Thursday that just passed, but the one before, I had 22 showings booked by the end of Friday
where is
for
this
the
house?
weekend and everything. Newmarket, Young and Davis.
Newmarket. What the? Okay.
Okay. So it was like last week we were not. So I told her, I said, your mom's looking out for you. Yeah, she gave you an extra week
She
because
just
her
did
mom
you
had a
a
lot of issues.
solid.
This
Yeah.
was this was not a unexpected passing or whatever. So she was in a home and everything, right? So that was a
Mm,
week that she needed. That extra week actually put fuel on the fire and
really?
rocketed her into 50 showings, roughly, something like that. I think it was 47 showings in a week, 6 offers, and 211,000 over asking. Okay. And the same house,
Over
and I'm not bragging,
asking.
this isn't
Blah
my
blah
commercial here
blah.
because the market changes and I can't always take responsibility for everything. But the same house that was on her street that was totally renovated, hers wasn't, with a walkout basement, the same as hers, on a pie-shaped lot on the same street, sold for 1,300,000, and we got 1,311,000. So that person
Sounds
spent
similar to
100
our
plus
situation.
100 plus K in renos, plus they had a pie shaped lot, and she got
Wow.
more money than them still.
Yeah.
So
So that
the
means
market's
it's
on the move.
moving.
The market's on the move.
Wow.
Don't buy
It's
the
a
hype.
move.
Don't listen to
Don't
the
buy the
naysayers.
hype.
Yeah.
Wow.
Interest rates are low.
So
People are
hold on.
still actively looking.
I read an article this week. I think it was this week. I'm pretty sure it was the last couple of days. That was talking about how people in Canada are searching the term on Google. Should I buy a house right now? Like more than ever, and it was like it's better dwelling. So they've been, I guess, tracking it over the pandemic. And it says that like more than ever, people are searching the term, should I buy a house right now? So what does that mean? That people are fucking confused and they're scared that they will never be able to buy a house, right?
Yeah, I remember the
You-
search term that would made the news um, back in the beginning of the pandemic in spring 2020 was um, like how to move outside of Ontario or how to move outside of Toronto or something like that. Like where are good places to live in Ontario? Like
Yeah.
people were actively looking at, small towns and all that kind of stuff, trying to figure out like where do I go? People just Google stuff. And if you at any given time start looking up the trends and analytics on what
You
people are
should see
Googling,
what I
you'll
Google.
find storylines. Hey?
I said you should see what I Google. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, but you don't just this is not like a like I wonder why the sky's blue, or like it's like people are asking that to Google because they really don't know the answer and can't figure it out.
Yeah.
They're hoping Google has the answer. But if you check Google, everybody's as confused as you. It's a
Yep.
very confusing, fast moving, nonsensical market. The only thing that makes sense to me is that it just keeps going up. It makes sense. Oops, you like my thumb? The only thing that makes sense based on all the actual factors is that it goes up because of the money printing, because of the demand, because of the supply. Like, what the fuck else do you need to add into this equation?
Well,
Now we got
let's add
schools
in.
opening and cities opening, and like I saw some crazy incentives to rent for students. Did you see? There was an article that came out. People are incentivizing students to sign a lease now for 12 months, and if school gets canceled again, you can live there for free. I'm not making this stuff
They're
up.
betting.
They're betting
People
that
are
it's
betting
not
on the school
closing
not getting.
ever again,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And they're also saying maybe I can get some money in between a first and a last, and maybe a couple of months before school gets canceled and not be empty the whole year like I just was.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, I don't know why you would do something like that. I mean, there are very few cases. I mean, the chances of this thing coming back again are probably
Well, yeah,
slim.
I want to talk a little bit about that, but at first, let's just finish the point that you had made there, because I think that that's important. I'm not going to share my screen. I'm just going to talk about what it is here. So, I just went into the Canadian Real Estate Association stats website. So this is something that I think is an important part. So they just talk about like I wanted to know like where like net migration is in Ontario, because they keep talking about. There was one article that was talking about how people are leaving Ontario more than ever, and that BC and Quebec were the provinces that people were going to. So I kind of wanted to see what was going on, right? So
BC was one?
yeah,
That
yeah.
doesn't make any sense.
Well, that's what they said, Daryl. So I'm gonna
Why would
believe
you go
them
to the second most expensive province?
because there's a lot of other cheaper places in northern BC, and it's also a nice,
Right.
beautiful place to live, right?
So
All
hold
right,
on.
so
Where does BC actually rank?
we've had two consecutive quarters of positive net growth. All right, because we had declines in net growth in the second and third quarter of 2020, but now the end of 2020 and beginning of 2021, we're actually population is growing. So 15,000 people moved to Ontario from other provinces in the first quarter of 2021. This is down 6% from a year earlier. Okay.
Yeah.
Fewer people came to Ontario from British Columbia and Nova Scotia compared to a year earlier. So I guess not as many people feel the need to come to Ontario for jobs, right? I mean, that's just what it is. 21,000 people left Ontario for going elsewhere in Canada, an increase of 13% from the same period last year. Okay, so that's a big number, right? So 13% more, a couple thousand more people left Ontario this first quarter than they did last year, and they're leaving for British Columbia and Quebec. That accounted for the most interprovincial moves. The result was a net loss of 5,600 people from Ontario's population, which is strictly just people who are already in Canada. But as far as international,
5,600?
we lost, yeah, just for Canadians moving around the country, we had a net loss. But when you add in the international immigration of 38,000 people to Ontario's population in the first quarter, this was an increase of 15% from the same period in 2021. So we actually have a net increase of 33,155 people to Ontario in the first quarter of this year. Now, why does that matter? Okay, like that's great. Population's growing in our
What's the
heads.
net to Ontario? What's the net
30,
to
30,
Ontario?
33,000.
In.
So in our minds, we grow up in our school system. We always have this population doubling calculation, and we're always talking about how there's growth, and they always look at these charts. And Canada's just been one of those countries that has always been growing. We have years of declines and stuff like that, different things, wars and stuff like that. But for the most part, population's growing, so everyone's like, well, the population just must go up, and that's just normal. But you have to look at the other side of it, is where all these people are going to live. So the Ontario housing Ontario housing starts chart in the Ontario Home Builders Association website for the first 4 months of this year. Okay, so January to April, we have a total of 27,987 housing starts. Okay, so it's pretty still significant, the amount of homes that are being built, 12,000 plus in Toronto. There's still enough properties that they're trying to obviously get underway, and that's a really, really, really good sign. My concern is a lot of those projects were under construction or under planning already, I should say, because
It's
that
not
means that
new supply, yeah.
so 12,000 in Toronto, right?
Sold already.
Already sold, already had their contracts in place with their builders, already had all those things in place. So what's going to happen now over the next year or two when there's that many less? So if you take out half of the buildings that are being built in Toronto right now, so you take out the 12,000 and drop it down to 6, now we're going to be at only about 21,000 housing starts, right? And if you're talking about
Yeah.
37,000 new people, that was just in the first quarter. Add another month to that. You're talking about a substantial disparity between how many people are coming in and how many places are going to be built. And I just don't think we've felt it yet. So what I think is
Well, hold on a sec. There's one more factor. So you have like how many empty places are available for the people? Because that bridges the gap. I mean, I don't think it's enough, but that's a big factor, right? How many places are available for rent or sale, right?
like vacancy rates.
No, how many available listings are there right now?
In the lease world, I don't know. I think we're down to like under
Even in
10,000.
sales, like those are places for people to live. Oh, I guess the other people need another place though to live too. So holy cow, we're so deficient, and we're
Yeah.
just getting going.
Yeah. Like when we'll start to see issues with the market is when those housing starts start to climb up further and the population can't keep up. We're also still well underpopulated. There's still a major amount of people that are going to be coming to this province, right? That's so 33,000 is in a quarter. So if we assume that we're going to have that all year round, and we're talking about 130 plus thousand people in 1 year. That's
That's
a
a
lot.
low
That's a
that's a low
lot of
number too.
that's a lot of people coming to Ontario, right? And that's what's going to carry us through. So the theory behind all this is, yeah, the economy is doing bad. Yeah, they've got some issues. Yeah, we're going to probably see interest rates rise in the near future and all that kind of stuff. But for there to be a crash, for there
I'm
to be a point,
confused though. Is the
why?
economy doing bad?
Yeah, the economy is definitely like unemployment's very high. You got a lot of sectors that have not recovered. There's a lot of uh, issues with what people are spending their money on and stuff right now too, right? So people are more in a fear stage right now. So everyone's kind of hoarding and they're not really thinking about, where they can put their money out unless they're going to go to some nice fancy cottages up in Lake Muskoka.
This place is far from fancy, but it is luxurious pricing, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
And you can only get it for a week,
Yeah.
but it's got some beautiful features. Wow. It's right on the lake here. Can you
Yeah.
see that?
Beautiful. I love it. Yeah. That's great.
It's
Good price.
crazy. There's like 8,000 rooms. There's a million of us here too, because we're up
Yeah.
here with the brother-in-law's family and the father-in-law, my kids.
I love it.
Nice.
Yeah.
But God, what a great purchase anybody could have made to buy something on the water in Ontario
Ever.
previous to this thing.
At
Well,
any point.
holy cow. But
Yeah.
like, if we think that the prices in Toronto or Ontario in general, like in neighborhoods, has gone bananas, like cottage country, we're in the 55 to 60% over the last year, like increase. It's insane. And not only is that insane, forget about buying something, put it on Airbnb and see what the hell happens. It's insanity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Insanity.
I got a couple
For like,
Airbnbs booked,
the place
and it
is
ain't cheap.
dirty and gross. It's like, uh, it's not like worth the money, but it's crazy because if you want to do something right now, this is it.
It's worth it. You're going up there with family, you're spending time together. It's
Beautiful. Don't
yeah.
get me wrong. Zero complaints. It's amazing. There's board games. There's internet. Like, it couldn't be any better. There's a lake. There's canoes.
Yeah.
But the price is like out of whack with reality, just like the market.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything is so disconnected. But the fundamentals, it's all about those three things: the low interest rates, the horrific supply, and the crazy demand. And I think everybody, especially if they watch this show, is smart enough to know that like it can only ramp up, right? Pandemic didn't mess it up. What's going to mess it up? A meteorite. We're going to need
Yeah.
a meteorite to come in and destroy Toronto in order for it to crash this market. And hold on a second, a crash. Let's say it does crash here, 30%. We're
What a
back to
great time to
last year.
buy.
Oh, a great time to buy, and we're back to last year. So like,
Yeah.
it doesn't kill anybody. Some people, but not everybody. There won't be blood in the streets. A
Yeah.
little blood, I think. But anyway, so hold on a sec. So from your perspective as an agent, you're telling me demand is going to ramp up because we are already short, right? You're telling me that you feel and you see like crazy amounts of showings right now, right?
Not crazy amounts of showings on every property. There's definitely way less showings than there was in March and April. That house in Newmarket that I sold would have had 100+ showings a few months ago. So
So what other
much less buyers, and the growth that we saw is gone. Like we're not going to grow another 30 to 50% all across Ontario. That's just not possible.
so let's tell me, okay, so it's been a couple of weeks, I guess, since we bought the house. A week? How long has it even been? A week and a half? Whatever it is.
Yeah.
If we were starting today,
Yeah. You'd
would
be paying more money.
our approach would not have changed?
Yeah, you would have done the exact same thing, but you would have just paid
Same
more
thing.
money. Yeah.
Like it wouldn't have felt like right now does not feel any different to you than 2 weeks ago.
It felt busier this week, like I said.
Busier.
Yeah, I put that building I put up that I showed you on Western Road, right?
Yeah.
So the listing of the week here, right? So you got a 14 unit apartment building, 13 residential, one commercial, right?
Yeah.
4 million bucks. It's a
Some development potential.
amazing listing in an area right next to Mount Dennis mobility hub, which is like I drove by it. It's like the best station in all of Eglinton. Like it's like really, really, really nice. Okay. And
And right near the Up Express.
it's on the Up Express. There's another station coming there, right? So it'll be another up station, go station to Kitchener, end of the line 5, LRT, TTC
They're
buses,
putting an
everything.
Up station right there, right next to the other one at Weston and Lawrence.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a super big
But the whole
station.
point of that thing was to have like 2 stops.
Well, maybe they're going to have more stops or less stops. I don't know.
What a scam. All right.
Right. So, the traffic there has been crazy too, right? You're talking about a big listing. You're talking about something that you wouldn't
Really?
think is very, there's not a lot of buyers in that price point or for those types of properties. And, it's been nonstop phone calls,
Oh, it's
nonstop
for
interest,
sure.
nonstop. Everybody's been, trying to get in there and that's the market that we're in, right? People are confident.
Well, it's hard. I think it's hard to find a good rental building these days. Like,
Yeah.
you probably have all this huge REIT and pension fund money chasing those buildings if they come out. Who's calling
No,
you on
those
that kind of stuff?
the small time guys, right? But I think the
But
bigger guys are
landlords
probably 30
or
plus units.
developers or not developer interest?
No developer interest that I know of. Everyone seems to all be from the mom and
Yeah,
pop retail investors looking for another bit to their portfolio, which is normal.
yeah, or somebody working their way towards Toronto
Yeah.
from Hamilton or somewhere.
I was looking up Starlight because I wanted to see more about them,
Huge,
and they have
huge,
like
ridiculous.
36,000 units
Daniel Drimmer.
up and
These
down
guys are
Weston. It
big
was just
time.
like Starlight. They've bought everybody. Like,
Forget about Weston. Go to Bathurst Street, okay?
yeah,
Drive on Bathurst from anywhere up to anywhere, and
yeah,
every third building will say Starlight on it. If
yeah,
they don't own it, they manage it.
yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah.
Like
Smart.
Bathurst and Steeles to Bathurst and Eglinton, I don't even know how many.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. But
And they
these
knew
guys have
something.
billions. They know
Well,
how to raise
they,
money and
they
make
have,
it
yeah,
look
they have
like they make
backers.
money.
Yeah,
They have big, big, big money behind them.
yeah.
And
They got
it's
commercial stuff
growing.
too. Yeah. So that
It's
makes it
amazing. But
hard
they're
for.
smart. Starlight buys stuff with development potential. They have a lot of development applications in for excess land. So they'll buy something that cash flows right away and they'll redevelop it a lot of times.
Or try to
Not
build
all
on
the
the site.
time. Try and build on the site.
Yeah. Like
For the
an
most part, that's what
additional
they do.
rental.
Add some townhouses, add another building, like whatever it fits.
Yeah.
But they buy stuff with more potential.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brilliant company, beautiful
that's the challenge.
company.
Yeah, they're very good at it. And that's the challenge for anybody who wants to be into the multi family space is you're really stuck on the bottom rungs there, to get
This is
one
a
of those
great
100
segue.
to get one of those 100 200 unit buildings, you got to be really working hard to get it.
It's a great segue into big news that's been in the States and in Canada lately is these big companies, like here in Toronto. I think we even talked about it. Core Developments. They've put together like $1 billion to buy single family residential houses to rent.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
got big companies like Blackstone in the States that $1 billion is like a sip of that tea you're drinking there for them. It's
Yeah.
nothing. And they're buying residential housing and they're
Yeah.
recognizing I saw a story where they literally bought like a neighborhood, like a
Yeah.
neighborhood. It's
Core
like, hey,
Developments
but
is doing.
they bought everybody for double
Yeah.
and just bought the whole neighborhood. It's like, if you
Yeah.
want to live here, guess what? You got
Rent from
one
us.
choice.
Yeah.
And from us,
Yeah.
the
Core
great
Development's
reset,
doing
baby.
duplex conversions.
They're converting to duplex.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, but it's all single family, convert to duplex, and
Yeah. That's
boom.
what they're buying. That's what they're targeting. So they're finding
Yeah,
properties that they can convert to duplex, legal duplexes, which is a
yeah,
great strategy, by the way.
great strategy.
It's a great strategy. In Oshawa, I had a lot of success, and there was a lot of people that I was helping, and there was a lot of people that I was copying who were just killing it for years,
And it's
converting
very,
duplexes.
it's very different. Like these guys are, I don't believe the way that they're operating is like using leverage. Like they're buying stuff cash. They're buying stuff cash, and it's just like boom, this thing just spitting out money, and then maybe later they'll refinance stuff.
Maybe.
But it's you don't have to compete in the same price rate point if you're paying cash, right? Because you don't have that big expense of a monthly payment anymore, right?
Yeah. Well, they're also looking at if it's got duplex potential. Now they're going to be, bringing in double the
And
rent
then
because
you
chances
increase.
are it's like an old rundown grandma's bungalow, right?
Yeah, and it's crazy. The house we used to live beside, they were charging like 3,000 or 3,300 bucks for the main floor of the bungalow, and then the guy in the basement was paying over 2 grand,
Yeah.
which is insane.
They're going into smaller markets though. They're in like Kitchener, London,
Yeah, they have to be.
Guelph. Yeah.
Yeah, so but what's that doing? I mean,
But
that's
those
where
rents, those
everybody's
were crazy.
running to escape.
The
But that's
rents
where
were like
everybody's
17,
running.
$1,800 still. It was nice. It was.
But here, like people are leaving Toronto to go to those places so that they can afford it. And over there, they got to butt heads with like the multi-billion-dollar companies that are in there going, we just want houses. Like this is a
Yeah.
long-term play. We don't care if we pay 30,000 more than you because we're going to own this forever, right?
Yeah.
We're never going to sell this thing, or we're
Yeah.
going to sell the whole portfolio for more money than you can even imagine, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy. It's not
Yeah.
fair. It's not
Yeah.
competition. But this
I
is what we're
mean,
gonna have to
I
deal
guess
with.
I guess we have to look at it from the standpoint of how else are we going to have housing for people to live in, right? So like there needs to be some motivation for people to build. This has been the thing that you've been advocating for. What else is going to motivate people to build? What, like, we need to just push more people who are thinking about buying resale and converting duplexes and whatever it is, because converting duplexes creates two rentals, creates an extra rental, right?
Sure, yeah,
So
yeah.
what else are, like, what are the solutions for people? Like if it's not mid rise and high rise, if it's not, new construction, like where else are these opportunities? And we need to convert as many properties as possible into rentals. That's how we're going to survive. That's what Europe's
Yeah.
done, right? That's what a
Yeah,
lot of
and
major places have done. There's rental units in every freaking corner of the house.
yeah, but I hate to break it to everybody. The answer is definitely not laneway housing, okay? This will not make a dent. This
No,
is
of course not.
useless, will not make a dent.
Yeah.
And it only makes sense to certain people. If you're leveraged to the hilt because you bought a place downtown that has a laneway with a garage on it, like what's the chances that you can afford to build this laneway house for 300-400 grand to rent it out for $2,000 a month? Like the numbers, I don't think make sense unless you just own the land and you can either like you just have cash lying around and it just makes sense. But most people aren't in that situation. Or,
Yeah.
or, or you refi the house to build that thing to create a cash flow. But then that
Yeah.
it's a certain stage of life that becomes dumb. So
Duplex
laneway
conversion.
houses, duplex conversion, beautiful.
So that's
Always
so
beautiful.
that's the easiest one, because what municipalities have is they have like a secondary suite bylaw, right? So you can be in uh single family
Ah,
residential zoning, but you can apply for a legal secondary suite as opposed to
oh,
being in duplex zoning or triplex zoning and all that kind of stuff.
so
That's
goddamn,
the
you
issue.
gotta wait. Yeah, you gotta go apply for a permit and then you gotta go change a window because you need an
Yeah,
extra
okay,
form of
but that's
egress for
fair
blah
enough
blah blah
because
blah blah.
it's not a rezoning.
Yeah, but you know what? Come on. It's my house. I want to rent the basement. This guy
Okay,
wants
well,
to
in
rent the
Toronto
basement.
you can pretty much do that and no one's coming
Stop
knocking on
it.
your door, right?
Oh my God. You can't even build a new house now with a kitchen in the basement, right?
Okay.
Because they don't want to give you a legal duplex.
Okay, but that makes
So
sense.
what does
Unless
everybody have to do?
you can build it with a kitchen in the basement. You just have to follow
Yeah, you need a permit. You need a
the
special
guidelines,
permit for
and
that. Yeah.
it's a serious endeavor. So I think another solution then, just speaking off the cuff here, would be instead of secondary suite conversions, it could
Yeah.
be multi-family suite conversions. So now
Multi-family suite
I can
conversion.
go into a 4 bedroom, 3,000 square foot house in Vaughan or wherever, maybe somewhere near Bathurst and Steeles, I don't know, wherever the big houses are. And they would then go and walk into the house and say, okay, we're going to put up a wall here. We're going to put up a, means of egress here. We're going to put up fire separation here. We're going to put an interconnected smoke detectors. We're going to have all the necessary tools to be able to convert this 4 bedroom house into 4 units, and it would be legal.
Beautiful. Why the
How would
hell
the neighbors
not?
think about that? Right?
But
But it makes
why
sense,
is it
right?
any of their business? I don't even understand how the neighbors matter.
Yeah. But think
Sorry,
about it.
it's my lot. I'm allowed to do this.
Joe Smith wants to create in a neighborhood that has no housing. Like my neighborhood is a good example. My neighborhood was built up mostly in the 70s and 80s, the majority of the houses. And what happened was people were moving because in Scarborough, the 50s and 60s bungalows were all very small and all that kind of stuff. But if you moved a little bit further east, you got more for your money. So in the 70s and 80s, they're building a lot of big 2 stories and stuff like that too. We have like a couple townhouse areas. We have no high rises or buildings. We have everything's like they're bigger houses. They're all on average. They're not massive. There's no mansions, but it's all just mostly bigger houses. So there's not a lot of rentals. If you try to find a rental in my area, it's very tough because there's really not that many basement apartments either. So in
Yeah.
order for us to have more rentals, it would make sense that people would be able to convert their places into multi-unit suites, and instead of rooming houses, because that's what people do, especially if you go to University of Toronto Scarborough campus, they always get caught or put in the news because they stick 8 students in one house or 10 students, whatever it is, and it's dangerous.
It's
right? But if you
insane over there though. Like I remember when we were doing a deal out there, and it's like there's nowhere for anybody to live. Like the amount of money and the amount of students that go into that property over
Centennial
there,
College, UTSC, yeah,
it's insane the amount of traffic over there. And then it's just like this no normal old neighborhood where like one builder just added like 12 houses recently, and
yeah.
that's it.
No new construction really much at
No,
all.
and then
Yeah,
and then so we get this like 3 acre site right at the end of the street where you
yeah,
could put all kinds of student housing, like for I don't even know how many units you could actually put on there. But no, sorry, like 15 or 23 years ago, we made this report and you can have 8 stories, and at the back you can have six. And
yeah,
stay clear of this beautiful ravine feature because you know there's a branch there, so you got to stay 8,000 meters away from it,
yeah.
right? But it's so ripe and makes so much sense, and they're bringing a subway there, and it's like, why are these all just single family houses here?
Yeah.
You can take one of these old bungalows and put up like a 4 story, 6 story wood structure the length of the property and put like I don't even know how many units in something like that these days where the average size is like under 600 square feet. You can put a lot of units in something like that and boom. And I'm telling you, I can design it. I can have everybody, all the consultants stamp off on it in 3 months and I can be ready for construction, but it will take 3 years.
At
And
least.
we could have rows of these things built in a year easily. But you know what's going to be? A bunch of illegal basement apartments and people splitting up their house 7 ways illegally, where the garage is a unit, right? Some guy goes through the back sliding door and he's got the family room as his unit, right?
Yep.
There's some side door cut into a window in one place, and that guy's got the dining room. And I'm not even joking. Like, that's what these houses are looking like over there.
Yeah.
Why? You get tax revenue, you get permit fees, you get all kinds of fees and revenue to the city for building this stuff. New sewer connections, like all this stuff. People are making money, people are getting salaries. But what? No, not gonna happen. Never gonna happen. I get
Yeah.
you a bloody 3D printer and print those buildings in 2 days.
Yeah. Definitely a housing shortage. And there's solutions, right? So there's definitely solutions. So let's go back to core developments. They're finding a solution.
Yes,
So all the people in the world out there can say how, billion-dollar companies are
evil.
coming in and buying our houses and they are creating the necessary rental stock. They are actually
Mm.
keeping prices down for everybody else. But it's hard for people to understand that.
Explain this because I don't understand. What are they keeping down price wise? The purchase price of a house or rents?
Rents.
Are they?
Yeah.
You think that their game plan is to keep rents down for people?
I think that because by creating more units, the market
Yeah,
will dictate how much rent they're able to get. And are they getting market rent right now? Absolutely. But if we had pressure on rents, Daryl, for the last 5 years in Toronto that brought
yeah,
rents to a point that no longer were affordable because we no longer had places to rent out. We didn't have anywhere for
Ex-
anyone to live. Basement apartments were going for $1,700 that were garbage in Scarborough.
yeah, yeah.
Crazy.
But this won't make it down. The $1 billion fund won't make it down.
In
Maybe it'll
Kitchener
start something
in
that it'll make
Kitchener
it down.
well, it'll definitely start and it'll definitely take some sort of relief off the rental market for sure because it's going to
It's an
add supply,
interesting way of looking at it.
right?
It's
Because what
helpful.
what what would have been
They're
done? Those
helping.
houses would have been bought by mom and pop guys looking to either buy it or use it as a single family rental. So now it's only housing one family. Now that
Well,
same house
or
is housing two
somebody to
families.
live in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
but
one family lives in that one house. And they don't even
right.
use their basement. They just say, you know what, forget it. I don't even use the basement. I don't need it.
I'm gonna
Instead,
store all this shit I
store all
don't
the
need in
stuff I
it.
don't need down there, right? There you go. The worst example right
Hey,
now
you
is
shave.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
Look at you,
We're
Mr.
opening up
Handsome.
we're opening up the
Sorry.
economy again.
Look at
But
this guy.
the worst example is the baby boomers who are still in the 3,000 plus square foot houses, similar to the people
What?
you bought off of.
Yeah, why? What's worst about that?
Well, just square foot per person is just
Oh, I
way
see.
too high.
Did you see? I just saw, I don't know if it's true. I just saw this morning. Elon Musk sold all of his real estate, which I knew,
He'd be doing
but
that for
he
long.
is living in a $50,000 20 by 20 pre-made house.
Yeah. So Elon Musk needs,
But
what
he's
is it?
doing it to make it
20 by 20,
popular.
so 400 square feet. Great. Elon Musk needs 400 square feet, but grandma and grandpa need
Need
4,500 square
4,000.
feet of
Yeah.
total living space.
With 3 levels that they can't even
Yeah.
get up.
Like
I can't even
there
get up
should
three
be
levels.
some sort of like, regulation. There should be a tax or something where it just says like, look, we do our
Oh, yeah.
census. If you got this many people in your house, you're good. But if you don't have that many people in your house, then we're going to start charging you more taxes until you move.
That's actually an idea that whoa, sorry, there. That's actually an idea I could get behind. Taxing people that live in a larger
Underutilized
size.
houses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good idea, actually.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Nobody will ever vote for that guy,
No
but
way, not a
like,
chance. Or proposition it at the propose it at the councils. But
you know
anyways,
what?
it's a good idea.
One day we should like co-run and see what happens with our
Yeah,
gigantic following and see if we can pull a Howard Stern and see if we can shake this town up a little.
there you go. All right, you could be the face of it.
I think this one's going to have to be you.
You can
I
be the
think
face.
you're
You'll be the
better
face of
suited.
it, and I'll just have some ideas in the background, and you'll listen to
You know,
one out of every 8 of them.
you know how easy it will be for them to completely assassinate my character and destroy me in the media?
It's okay. We'll prop you up. We'll get you
Yeah, there's
saving
no profit this
dolphins
up.
and shutting down local like cruelty to animal
Are
shelters.
you kidding me? I'm starting
Yeah,
a $1 billion fund to help people lower their rents.
yeah,
I'm
right.
starting it now. You can visit
So
my website at.
so that's something that I think is a big issue. So how is core developments going to help? It's going to create more units. Is it going to push
Fantastic.
some of the prices up higher on the purchase side?
Hell yeah.
Okay, why?
Why?
Yeah.
Because they can afford to pay more. We just talked about this.
Okay.
They're going to hang on to this thing forever. It doesn't matter what the price is. They want to create the cash flow now that will guarantee if you do the performer on this thing with like normal increases over time for 25, 30 years, the 30 grand, the 50 grand they pay more now, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If you factor in just even 1% inflation like over the 30 years compounded, the 50 grand doesn't matter. They're smart.
Okay.
I
So
think, or I'm stupid, one or the other.
no. I think you're right, and I'm not saying that I have a better answer or not, but in my opinion, the only way that we solve the housing crisis is with condos.
Hopefully ones that don't disintegrate while the whole like everybody's living in them.
No,
You hear
these will
about
be
that
permanent
thing?
structures.
Did you
And
hear about that in Florida? That's a
no,
permanent structure.
what happened?
You didn't hear about the condo building that imploded, like just
No,
collapsed?
no,
What?
no. Sorry, man.
Are you kidding me?
No, I missed it.
Wow, yeah. Oh my God, yeah. It's like it was built in China or something.
Yeah,
It's like those things you see in China that fall
it
apart.
was
It
just
happened in
like
Miami.
psych, psych.
What?
We just told you were getting a condo. You're
That's
getting a
right.
condo.
Didn't you see in the corner of your unit the little sticker that said made in China? Oh, but it's sad.
Temporary,
Anyways, but yeah,
temporary.
are condos the answer? I like your idea. I think your idea would create a lot of stock way quicker than condos. Condos take a condo's 7 years till people are moving in. If you're lucky, five
Sure,
years.
but in areas like Kitchener and Guelph and Waterloo and all these other small towns, Kingston and all that kind of stuff, Bowmanville, Barrie, right? This is a way to solve the issue of where people are going to live. Because remember, when those baby boomers leave their houses because we tax them out, all right?
Yeah,
Where are they going to go, Daryl?
we're just gonna take them out,
No, they're
put them
going to
in condos.
condos because
Yeah,
there's 2 of them and they're going to be in an 800 square foot unit. That's 400 each, just like Elon Musk. And now they are going to be comfortable and they'll be as comfortable as a billionaire. That'll be the sales pitch. Be as comfortable
right.
as a billionaire
As
here at
be as
Oak
comfortable
Ridge's
as Elon
condos.
Musk. You have 30 seconds to comply. You have
Yeah.
been relocated.
You've
You have been
relocated.
reallocated.
Right? So now the families who have 3, 4 kids are getting the bigger houses because they're moving into those houses. They've freed them up, which means that they've got a place to go. The housing stock gets transferred into the ownership of the people who need it the most. The underused, underutilized housing like bungalows and stuff like that that have duplex potential, they create more units. Some sort of multi-unit suite allowance is going to create more units in places like University of Toronto Scarborough campus, where you got all these big houses where there's too many people living in one spot and it just wasn't designed properly. I think that would actually help prices if all that
Yeah.
is done at the same time
All
in the
right.
right way.
Now let's wake up from our dream, shake off the rest from sleeping,
Yeah.
because that's not happening anytime soon.
I'm
What
just
is
saying
going to happen soon?
all
What's
those
going to
things will
happen?
help.
What is going to happen? Like if we play the scenario through where 140,000 purchasing groups or people come into the province, right?
Yeah.
Students come into the province, planes are flying all over the place again. Borders are open. Money's still being pumped into the system. Rates go up a quarter point, twice. Okay. But like, what happens? And hold on a sec. I remember in the last few weeks reading all kinds of reports of people stopping building and putting projects on hold because prices are crazy for commodities, right?
Yeah.
So when you just stop something, it doesn't just start up again right where it left off, right? You got to ramp back up. You got to find the guys. You got to get the materials. Like none of that's even gone through the system yet. Plus, every supply chain around the planet is still a bloody disaster, right? So I
But have you
think
seen lumber prices?
yeah, they've
The
gone
lumber
down, but it
futures.
didn't matter. It doesn't matter. Before prices went up, everything was low. Like the supply was low and strained already, right?
Yeah.
So we know there's no way we couldn't keep up before, and everything's fucked up now. So what are the chances? There's zero chance that we're gonna keep up with anything right now. The only thing we're gonna keep up with is a shortage. The shortage will just keep increasing, right? Until something drastic is going to happen to increase supply or wane demand. What's going to wane demand? Interest rates. There's the only thing that's going to happen, but how quickly they're going to raise interest rates? Realistically, they don't want to
And when are
crash
they
the
going to start
thing.
doing it? Right. Because now, like in the States, the Fed's been talking about it because they had some higher inflation. So they're kind of like hinting towards something happening. And they're like, maybe instead of the
Right,
end of
right,
2023, we'll do it in the beginning of 2023. And Canada, like,
right. Everybody's hinting at doing it sooner.
Bank of Canada has basically been saying, look, end of 2022. And that could be pushed up to the beginning of next year. Right.
But we're not going to see something like they saw back in the 80s where you have 22% interest rate. Never happened.
Doesn't seem like it. No. That's just like a way to basically
That's what
kill.
they said. Yeah. My father-in-law just said that's what we said back then.
Yeah.
Interest mortgage 5 years,
Yeah. Long-term mortgages. Yeah. Long-term mortgages for like high rates. People thought you're crazy, and then it actually worked out okay.
Yeah. Give me a 10-year rate.
But you don't prop this thing up this much and try so hard to keep this thing afloat to just demolish it in one fell swoop by coming in with a like even if you added 3 points to the interest rate, it's really not so bad, but it'll destroy everything because people freak out. Everybody will freak out about 5% interest rates.
Okay. So average mortgage, I would say right now that I'm seeing based on, pure anecdotal evidence here, is about $800,000. I'm seeing some people in that 4 to 5, and I'm seeing lots of people over $1 million. Okay.
This is a
So
mortgage amount?
the mortgage amount, 800,000.
Yeah,
If interest rates
yeah,
go up 1%, they have to pay an extra $8,000 a year in interest.
yeah.
Out of all the bills that you pay right now, which one would you be okay with paying $8,000 more for without getting anything in return?
Right.
None.
Crazy.
You'd
No.
be pretty upset. So you're either going to make a decision on not buying the house that you want or paying less for the same house.
Yeah.
right? Because that's a big number.
Or you get the hell out of that house before it destroys you.
So that's the thing, is when interest rates do go up. Now the good news is this: interest rates will most likely go up. That's just the way it works.
They have to. I mean, they're at nothing.
Exactly. But the majority, like 2/3 of people, have all signed 5-year fixed rates in the last 12 months.
Right.
So it doesn't affect any of them. And in 5
Yeah.
years, then we'll decide on what we think the market should or shouldn't be doing based on interest rates. We're not talking about something that's going to happen in 2021. We're definitely not talking about something that's going to happen in 2022. And we'll see, talk to me in 2026 and I'll let you know if the aliens have taken over yet or not, and where the world is at. Because
Oh, you'll hear it here first for sure.
yeah, because I
Or
don't really,
Mike in the night, Mike Martins. That's probably why
yeah,
you're
you'll
here.
hear
But
him
the
first, but
alien
we'll be
invasions
second.
will be here there first. That's right.
So
All right. Well, so I don't know if you've eased my anxiety at all, to be
okay,
honest with you. I
all right.
think
I didn't know that I had a responsibility of doing that.
you're the host of the Toronto Real Estate Show. What the
Oh
hell are you
yeah,
talking about? You have a
market's going up.
responsibility. You have no idea what is sitting
With
on your
great power
shoulders
comes
right
great
now.
responsibility. Yeah,
That's right.
I had to
That's
press
right.
the record button. Well, it
That's
seems like
right.
this. It seems like
You
this.
can
It
also
seems
press
like
it again.
I'm having some good activity on some of my listings. It seemed I was showing buyers this week the property that we liked. We decided to pass. There was 10 offers. Like there's lots of buyers out there, right? So
Lots of
I think
buyers.
pricing is a big thing. If you're priced well, you're going to get the activity, and buyers have no problem paying over asking and paying more for the property. That's what they've been used to, and that's what they've been, um, you know, built up to as far as their timeline goes. They keep seeing the ones that they like go for way more, and they say, well, this is what I got to do. Um, and if you show well and everything's done right and you got a good property, then you're going to have activity. That's it. There's lots of
It's
buyers
the
out
only
there.
it's the only strategy though, really, is to guess what more is.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I mean, if there's 10 guys after every house, like there isn't a house for everybody.
No. And you want
There's
people
only
guessing.
actually out of the 10 of you, there's only a house for like 2 or 3 of you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I wonder what the stats are going to be. That's what I'm really wondering. Like when we look at June as a whole, where does it feel like it went from May? Like May was down, right? May was slow. We thought
I
it was
think
slow, even though it was fast.
I think so. Sales were trickling down. So month over month, sales were trickling down to May. And I believe that June they're going to be going back up again.
Up from May.
Yeah.
Little blip. And prices, fuck, the prices are still going.
Prices are really flat, but prices will be going up. But
Prices are flat.
they're very flat. Like when we were getting 8% increases from January to February, we were pretty sure that that was not going to be something we would see again. So now to see something at 0.8% increase month over month, it's still like a phenomenal seller's market.
Right.
Just those gains that we saw are gone. Those gains that we saw are gone. Don't count on those gains coming back. But also
Those
don't
crazy
sit
month to
around
month gains, you
waiting.
mean?
Yeah.
I don't see it slowing down. Maybe temporarily, but I think there's going
Yeah.
to be another spike of that action too.
The risk that you take
Because when
by
people
sitting out.
find the answer of, like when Google figures out the answer is yes, you should buy a house right now if you plan to buy one.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's going to be more again tomorrow. When
Yeah.
Google just says that,
Yeah.
all kinds of people are going to start buying houses like crazy again.
Yeah.
When they go, oh my God, like look at how many people are coming in. Look at these reports on immigration, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna get bananas.
If you're buying a rental property, right? This is the way I always look at it, because that's usually my mindset as far as, long-term market growth and everything else. If I'm going to buy a rental property and today's rents are enough for me to be able to sustain the bills, positive cash flow, I got, the pay down that I want. I see the appreciation that I'm going to have over the years. I see where I can take rents and what I can do with the property. What's the difference if the value of my property goes down to me? If I'm hanging
If
on
you
to
can
that
still
property
make
in
the
the long run.
payments,
Yeah.
yeah, it doesn't matter.
Who
But
cares?
that's what I was just thinking is like
As in,
they're even though 30 year, 60 year, whatever horizon, we know it's like up, right?
yeah,
Consistently up. there's something different that could be part of the mix right now is those increases in mortgage rates, right? That like allow way less people to afford these prices that have gone crazy.
Yeah. And now you own a rental property, and where do rents go?
Rents go up.
Rents go up,
Rental
and you got a
property is the
rental
way to
property.
go no matter what. No
So if
matter
you're
what.
thinking about buying an investment property and you're trying to time the market, or you're trying to say to yourself, I'm going to, I don't want to buy now because it's going to go down. Your mindset is completely backwards, and you have not thought about the reasons why you're buying a rental. If you're buying a rental to sell it in a year, you're not buying a rental. You're buying a flip.
Yeah.
You're
Sure.
just trying to speculate and try to get more money out of the market, and that's not the long-term buy and hold investor mentality.
No, it is not.
Yeah.
I don't have an investor mentality. I have a flipper mentality.
Okay. Well, let's go now into the single family end user mentality.
I'm trying to think more like a long-term owner now.
Okay. But let's go into it. So now I'm renting and I'm going to go and buy a house. Oh my gosh, I think the market's going to crash. I'm going to buy my $1 million house for 20% cheaper in 2 years from now. Right? I'm going to save $200,000.
Okay, say that again.
Okay. I'm going to buy my $1 million house that I want to buy
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
20% cheaper in 2 years. So I'm going to save $200,000.
Oh, this is somebody's best thinking here coming out.
Yeah.
This is
Right. So
scenario
I'm going to
A.
wait. I'm
Yeah.
going to wait and see what happens with the market. Right. So now in those 2 years, I'm paying rent. Let's call that 36,000 a year, $3,000 a month, assuming that I'm living in a third, that's not even that great of a place. Unfortunately, the rental
Yeah,
market's pretty hot.
it's
Right.
horrendous place.
Okay. So that's $70,000 that I've just spent on rent.
Yeah.
Now, if the market doesn't change at all, right? So now that would be a 7% decrease. So if the market goes down 7%, I break even, and I've been in a rental the whole time. But if the market doesn't go down at all and it doesn't stay, it means I've lost $70,000, right? And if it does go down 20%, I've spent $70,000 anyway. So really it's only 130 grand. I've got another property that I'm, not taking care of. I haven't been able to make the improvements to the property. I've had to, live under somebody else's roof, pay somebody else's mortgage. I've lost all the mortgage buy down. So in that, those 2 years, you could have had, depending on how big the mortgage was, you could have had another $20,000, $30,000 of principal paid off.
Yeah.
Right. You've got anything like, improvements to the home to make it look nicer and all that kind of stuff too. There's other appreciation. Just because the market went down doesn't mean that the house price went down $20,000. So there's all this other appreciation and stuff. How much really have you saved? And what are the risks if you're wrong? If you're wrong and the market doesn't go down 20%, and now you're left there with the $70,000 in rent still being paid, no more market appreciation, no mortgage principal paid down, no stability because the house, because you read something online. There's so many YouTube videos right now on the market crashing and all that stuff. It's so crazy. It's out there, and people are making these big decisions on a gamble that is not supported by anything factual yet at all.
In the spec market.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can even buy like a house these days to knock it down and build a custom house and feel comfortable that you're going to make a profit right now. Like, how are these guys doing this? It's been years I've been saying this. It's like,
Yeah.
that was
Honestly,
even before like the
in my
cost
experience,
of
a lot of
things
the
went
guys
up.
don't make money, Daryl.
It's
I
a
witness
tough
guys all the
game.
time lose money in that area where they think that they can just build a house and they're going to make all this money. Then they're like, oh, HST, what's that?
Yeah. Oh, carry on.
Carry on. Jeez.
What?
I was going to live in the house. I swear.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, capital gains tax. What? What's going on?
Income tax.
Income
What do you
tax.
mean?
What?
Jeez.
And then you got land transfer tax at some point, and you got a
Yeah.
commission on top
Commissions
of
on
it too,
top,
right?
carrying costs, the interest. Like those guys they're not paying cash. They're paying 7 to 10% interest on the money that they're borrowing.
And then this year, as people are like waiting to get their permits or finally got their permits, they got a shovel in the ground. The price, everything goes bananas on them.
It's not
But you know what happens? So, in my experience, at least, the competition isn't all locally grown. There's a lot of money that comes in from other places. And what happens is, okay, like they don't care what the end price is. Either they can afford to lose because their money is in here for a certain reason,
Yeah.
or they can afford to wait to get what they want because they don't give a shit that the house is serving its purpose currently,
Yeah.
right?
In
Which is
North
just
York, it's very
crazy.
common to see people take losses for other reasons. What, am I
Yeah,
winking? Can you see me winking?
I can see you winking.
You can see
Now
me
that you
winking?
shaved your beard, I can see you winking.
Okay. I'm just winking right now, okay? Because
Yeah,
taking a loss on paper sometimes is a good thing for people because
absolutely.
they get to
The
have some
money,
money into the system from other
mhm,
countries in the world.
exactly.
Very common in North York. Anyways, Daryl, this has been our first broadcasted
On,
show live on the scene.
look at us.
It went well. There was no breakups in the connection at all. You did fantastic. You got a
Look at
great
this.
background today.
Look at this. I- It's a lot. It's an expensive background, but it was worth it.
It was worth it. And my turn will
It
be
was
next week.
worth it. I am very excited for next week. I didn't think we were actually going to pull this off, to be honest with you.
Well, we
Plan A
did.
failed miserably,
It's okay.
miserably.
That's
But
okay.
look at us. We're resourceful.
We had so many plan B, C, and D's. You know us. We
I
never
like
give up.
that. I like
So
that.
thanks for being on my show today.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
And we'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir.
All right.